All right, I got former college coach and player Greg Meyne back to talk some football, Dolphins football. Obviously, we're entering a critical season. I value Darius DeHady, Greg Meyne, and Alf Ortega so much. They're my three prime guys. Jason Sarney's in there too, four prime guys. So I got a prime guy here, and I want to dig into his thoughts. We're going to cover Chris Grier's conference, some of the high-level stuff that we saw in the Jacksonville game that will help us kind of gauge where this team's at, roster moves, what its final construction is, and how it's feeling in general, and then dip our toes into the Colts game. And that will be what we're doing here. So, Greg, thank you for coming in as usual. I appreciate you, brother. I really do.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you. So you kick it off, man. I got my thoughts, but I don't want to dig too much into it right here. Chris Grier's conference. One little addendum to it. He's the leader. He's the GM. There's not supposed to be anybody higher, certainly in the football realm, than Chris Grier. Obviously, Ross is higher. He's supposed to be in charge. It should flow back to him. All responsibility, no?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't understand as a GM how you defer responsibility on your tasks of building the team. All right. Now, okay, you should work with your head coach. It should be collaborative. Okay. Of course it should. You don't want to give the head coach some players that he doesn't want. All right. That, you want to agree on most everything. All right. But his stance that, this year we're trying to dig out from some of the contracts that we did before. Well, you're the one that put the contracts together.
Okay? He was? I thought it was everybody else.
Yeah, you're the one who signed these guys to these deals that you're now trying to dig out of. Okay. It's just, he is the master at deflection, okay, and the master of not taking any responsibilities for decisions that a normal NFL GM should be taking responsibility for. I don't understand why this keeps happening. All right, in any other walk of life, if you're the leader, even if you give the task to a subordinate, he's still your team. You're the one who's leading this. It's still ultimately your responsibility if it doesn't work. All right, and I don't know if it's just Grier fatigue or what, but it drives me nuts listening to him talk, and it's like part of our job to kind of listen to him talk. To have an opinion on this, but it's almost like fingers on a chalkboard with me anymore. I'm so tired of him not accepting any responsibility for any of the work that's gone on in these 25 years since we won a playoff game. It's
the only time I ever heard him say he was responsible was to start the 2019 season with the conference. They asked him who had the final say on the draft picks, and he said it was me. Other than that, I've never heard him say it was mine. I own that. That's my mistake. Not once.
No, and he doesn't. All right. And that's one of the things that, again, I'm in business. I do my thing. I have my team, right? We just lost a project this week. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
All right. My team was the one to put it together. I supported it. All right. But it's still ultimately my fault that we lost. All right. I can't blame the junior engineers who are putting this together for me. It's my fault. All right. They did 99% of the work, but it's still my fault. All right. And basically I've told my management, yeah, it's my fault. Okay. We need to do better. But that's the way it's supposed to work. Okay. When you get paid more money and you get more responsibility, it's you who should be accepting the blame. And him passing it off it just drives me nuts. All right. And I don't get it.
And don't we always see is that we have guys that are not responsible, just too many of them. We have constant dysfunction. We have constant weakness. For 3 years, guys, you say, well, you don't show up to most meetings, but sometimes they just didn't care. Like,
yeah, Exactly. It's like what are you doing here? All right. And then we can get into Mike McDaniel's press conferences where he takes, 3 minutes to say nothing, all right, all the time. And he doesn't accept a whole heck of a lot of responsibility for some of the play calling shortcomings that are going on out on the field and the limitations of the offense and stuff like that. So it's gotten to the point where it's Grier McDaniel fatigue for me when I hear them talk, and it drives me nuts. All right, professional people being paid as much as they are to be the face of an organization should be better than that.
I agree. Now, this doesn't, like, for fans out there, it doesn't mean that we're going to have a terrible season. It doesn't necessarily mean that. I don't think it's a great foundation to build off long term. You could have, look, we won 11 games, we went to the postseason, but then it crumbled real quick. I just think that McDaniel, it's like good cop, good cop. If you want to go that be nice route with McDaniel and Grier. I just don't know if it's the right foundation, but we still can have success. But I don't know if there's any other relationship that I've seen with a GM and head coach that's like this in other football teams,
No, and look, part of it is because we aren't winning. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand that. I mean, Bill Belichick was not a great press conference guy. Okay, but he's winning Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He's going to championship games. Okay, you put up with it when you're winning. When you're bad in the press and losing, it's a bad combination. Fans aren't going to put up with it.
Yep.
And there's a reason why the overall expectations and the feelings toward this organization this year are down. It's one, because they're not winning, first and foremost, but two, the messaging from the organization is just terrible. And it starts with the faces of the franchise, which are, like it or not, Grier, McDaniel, and Tua. Even some of Tua's stuff this year has been basically just, unremarkable. All right. And how do you expect the fan base to be excited for this season when those are your three main spokesmen going into the season? It's just it's ridiculous, in my opinion. And with all of the money that's associated with the NFL and with every single team in the NFL, with the billionaire owners and stuff like that, you've got to have better public relations than this. That's all I got to say. It's just ridiculous at this point.
Now, two things. I do think Tua is all over the place. I liked it when he called out Hill and said, you just don't get. I thought that was a good media optic. I thought that was a good take. I thought that was a good response.
It's not a terrible response. I'll say it this way. I am of the opinion that a lot of that stuff should not make it to the press. That's kind of the stuff that should be kept in-house. Okay. I don't like players publicly calling out players.
That's true.
I'll say it that way. All right. I don't have a problem with a coach calling out a player in the public every now and then to motivate them and get them going. But there's a brotherhood, there's a bond between players, and I think sometimes taking that public is overstepping that.
That's fair. And to your point, Belichick lasted what? He won a Super Bowl 2018, and then he had 4 bad seasons, and he was fired.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, Grier's been here 10 years.
No, absolutely.
Do you think he survives this season? It felt like he was, because if everybody knows the resetting, how can you have high expectations to win?
Well, exactly. All right. And does he survive? Probably, because he survived every instance up until this point, right? Does that mean he should survive? No. All right. But I actually see him getting promoted. All right.
Al said that too.
he's going to become like president of football operations or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and away we go. There's just something between him and Ross right now where I don't think he's going to leave the organization.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm hoping that. I just pray he's not back in the same role next year. I don't care if they promote him, just for me,
Yeah,
unless he has a great season. If he has a great season, all right, I'll tip my hat or whatever.
well, yeah, but one great season can't overcome the mediocrity that's been the last
Oh,
two.
I agree. I
All
agree.
right.
Trust me.
I mean, it's in the territory now for me of even a blind squirrel, right, can find a nut. So he's just not consistent enough for me. But anyway,
So with Jacksonville, there was some good stuff there, especially on defense. I mean, it's all got to be rabbit-eared, kind of like the promotion, that they were playing second and third stringers. But what would you like to highlight, pro and con, good and bad, from your professional standpoint from that game that we can fix our eyes on?
so there was a couple things on the offense that to me were concerning, and I'll just say it that way. There were some very simple blitz concepts that Jacksonville was running that Miami was not picking up. Okay. It could be from the offensive line's point of view, but it also was from Tua. All right. Sliding the protection the wrong way. All right. He slid the protection to the left when the blitz came from the right, and it was pretty obvious looking at the film that that's where it was coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. They left you left your backup right tackle basically on an island, all right, and slid the wrong way. Um, and it affected a pass. There were a couple other issues within, the pass protection that I didn't
Mhm.
quite understand. Um,
Explain. Can you explain that?
well, there were there were slides. Okay, it looked like to me that Miami was employing a lot of zone type pass protections as opposed to man protections. All right. Um, Sliding here, sliding there, basically putting a tackle on an island and so on and so forth. And it it didn't enable it allowed some bigger players to get onto our running backs in protection. All right. I would prefer big on big. All right. You don't want running backs to block defensive ends. You don't want running backs to pick up the looping tackle, defensive tackle and stuff like that. You want running backs picking up linebackers and DBs when they come. And there were a couple communication issues there. Now, I did like seeing Ollie Gordon put his nose in there and hitting people
Yeah.
in pass protection. That was nice to see. Um, uh,
He
I
was very
like
willing. He's very willing.
he's very willing, okay, and part of what I'm talking about, all right, it's still practice, okay, and Ollie Gordon is still young, so maybe
Yeah.
there's some communication things that need to be ironed out. um, on the left side of the line, all right, we have two young players as well that I think are still just kind of feeling their way around some things, but they got to get going. All right, we're done with practice now. This is week one preparation. um, we talked about it the last time we talked. Some of the footwork stuff from Jonah. Um, uh, you know, I didn't see it improve a whole lot this week. There was a
Yeah.
couple times where his not gaining uh, not gaining ground on that first step cost him on a couple blocks.
Yeah.
So, um, you know, for anybody out there that's interested, watch the all 22, watch the offensive line, watch what Brewer does next to Jonah. Watch Brewer's footwork compared to Jonah's footwork. It's a lot different.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a reason for that. So Brewer has to play with good solid foundation. He's just not the biggest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Right. If he would get manhandled if he was off balance. So he's playing with good footwork. Jonah is not yet.
But to Jonah's credit, really, if he can get the footwork down, considering he's playing with such bad technique, he's sort of handling himself at times. He would be devastating if he could get it together.
Despite his footwork, and despite his wideness, let's put it that way, despite playing with his hands out wide as opposed to in here, right? He has been effective. All right. Now, does that continue against real NFL first teamers?
Yeah, that's the question.
Okay, we'll see. There was a lot to like on offense. There's still some things that give me a little bit of pause. There's defenses still aren't preparing and things like that. It's going to get a lot more complicated, and some of these basic blitz schemes are getting home. So I'd like to see that get cleaned up. Defensively, this front seven can play.
They can.
Right?
And they didn't have Brooks last week.
Correct. This front six.
He's a big difference maker.
This front seven is going to be fun to watch. This defense matches up pretty well, really well, in my opinion, with what Indianapolis is going to be doing on offense. So,
explain. Can you explain that?
Well, Indianapolis is going to be a run first offense, in my opinion. All right, they're going to feature Taylor.
Yeah.
That's going to basically be, Indianapolis's front seven against our front seven. We should be in a pretty good spot there.
I agree, especially with Judon. I like the Judon ad. Did you like the Judon ad?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Steve Malloy and I talked about this when he was at it. Right, you can't have too many pass rushers.
No.
He's older. He's longer in the tooth. He's not the same player that he once was. But if you put him out there for 10, 12, maybe 15 snaps a game, he's not going to hurt you.
No.
Right? He's not going to hurt you. And if you do that through the first 3 quarters or whatever, and that spells, Chubb, Chop, and Jalen, all right, to be able to be those closers in the fourth, I'm all for it. All right.
Yeah.
Just do it. So that not a problem there. But I like our defensive tackles against their interior 3. I like our edges. All right. Our linebackers are playing pretty well.
Yeah.
And Daniel Jones and this wide receiver core isn't something that's going to scare me with our secondary right now.
I do have a little concern with the tight end, that rookie tight end they drafted, and Jones's mobility. I'm not saying they're going to light us up or anything like that, but I'm trying to find weaknesses where they can exploit. And we've struggled with the tight end, stopping the tight end, although I think Brooks has done a pretty good job, and so has Dotson. And then the mobile quarterback. So to me, that's the 2 wild cards that if we can handle that, I think we win.
So now in that front seven, that's the question to me. All right. We versus defense usually have an issue with a mobile quarterback. Okay. Getting that quarterback out on the edge and things like that, that could be dangerous. In the past, not so much last year, but in the past, tight ends have hurt us. All right. It's going to be interesting to me to see how Weaver covers the tight end. All right. Is it going to be linebacker focused? Is it going to be safety focused? Do we think this kid's good enough that we're going to put Minka on him? Okay.
Yeah.
What is that strategy there? But yeah, I mean, for the most part, our defense should be in a pretty good spot against this offense. Now, I'm not going to say that every week. All right.
No, it changes. Matchups change.
Matchups change. Quarterbacks change. The ability of wide receivers change. Miami plays a lot of really good quarterbacks this year. All right. And some good quarterback wide receiver combinations. This just ain't one of them. So it's going to allow the secondary to basically grow up a little bit in a regular season game. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think a big piece for the puzzle is Jordan Phillips. I know he's going against seconds, but he looked head and shoulders above everybody. And if you're head and shoulders above second stringers, that means you're a starter and he's 20. Just imagine when he's 25, and the hamstring starts hitting him. I'm very excited about Jordan Phillips.
You know, he's a 20-year-old kid making plays, and he doesn't know what he's doing yet. All right, you know, I mean, he is going to get better, and
Yeah, I love that kid.
and the way he keeps his base and the way he uses his hands,
Boxer and wrestler.
oh, he is really good. All right, and let's see what happens when he's lined up with Quentin Nelson.
Yeah,
all right, let's see what happens.
I think Quentin Nelson's a powerful dude.
Oh, that he's a beast.
I mean, even if he can lose lightly against Nelson,
yeah,
I would still be like, whoa. I mean, Nelson, you see him, he is jacked. He might be one of the strongest top 2 or 3 guards in the league. That is a great man. I should have thought of that, man. I'm regretting it. I didn't think that's going to be a great video.
It's going to be a great video. You know, Quentin Nelson is at the top of the game. He is probably, you know, if there's a better guard in the NFL, there's maybe only 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he is that good. And this is going to show us where Phillips is. But I'm anxious to see it because I've liked everything that I've saw from him.
I love that. Yes, that's so great. I got my video. I'm just going to be a focus, man. That's great. Yeah. And even then Grant too, who's going to play. It's going to be interesting to see him match up as well. We're going to get a big test.
Yeah, that defensive tackle rotation is going to be really interesting to see. Miami's got some players there, you know, and every one of them is going to deserve some playing time.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan. I didn't like that we re-signed Butler. I think he's terrible. I'm totally down on Butler. He's always being moved. I mean, I know he's a vet and all that, but I can't. I'm not that I can't stand him, but his play never floated my boat. He was like maybe 4 years ago. He was like okay, but I always see him get moved out. Benito's not bad, but he's just big, you know. But he's a body. I guess if you put him in for 10 plays, you got to move a 350-pound guy. It weighs you out a little bit. Softens you up for the rest of the dudes.
Well, yeah, Benito is an old school, Tim Bowens type player, right? He's there just to take on a double team and not move, and basically let linebackers run. And if he's probably going to be only a 10, 12 snap guy, okay, which is fine. You know, Zach Sealer for the year is going to be 70+% on the field. All right. That means that the other defensive tackle position is going to be, you know, there's basically 1,300 snaps, 1,400 snaps somewhere in there for 3 to 4 players to occupy. And you know, if you split them all up, you know, there's probably 300-400 player snaps per player. So let's get them good, right?
Yeah, I definitely think this deep, to me, when you add in Gay at the linebacking group, you add Phillips and Grant at the D tackle spot, you got Judon and Phillips and Chubb and Chop. This is absolutely the deepest and best front seven we've had since I can recall. You know, it's really elite. And, you know, when you got Minka at the top, it kind of pools together that generalship and adds some stability to the defensive back group. My only thing is this week one, we're going to face a good offensive line front, challenging tight ends, some decent receivers, but an average quarterback when he doesn't go crazy, he could be a little bit above average. And that, to me, the offensive line is a little bit of the testing ground, because if you can slow this front up and get a little two-way go downs, you're on schedule, and test that secondary, that's where you can get to us. I don't think the Colts can really do that unless we wet the bed. But when you're talking about you're going against, we have to face Washington, we have to face Steelers could be pretty good with Rodgers, even though he's not as good as he used to be. You got Allen. Who else are we playing this year that's got a good quarterback? I'm not so big on the Bengals. They kind of look like they're in disarray. Who else do we have that's a good quarterback group with a good offensive line?
Well, we got you got Tampa Bay. You know,
Tampa, yeah, they got a good front.
They got a good front. They got a good quarterback. They got good weapons. If we're playing Baltimore again,
that's another one. Yeah, I forgot about Baltimore.
You know, Pittsburgh. I still like Cincinnati. They're dangerous there. Washington, uh, L.A. Chargers. I mean,
Chargers, I forgot about them too. Yeah.
we're playing some dudes.
Yeah.
At
It'll be
quarterback
interesting.
right now. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. What I'm interested in seeing. All right. Again, this is a good first game for this team. All
Yeah,
right,
I agree.
because there's some matchups there that should go in Miami's favor. But does Weaver have to blitz to pressure? Okay, let's see what happens there.
Yeah.
Is the
Good
is the
point.
pressure going to be a little bit muted on our outside guys because we want to contain Jones? All right.
It's true.
Let's see what that's going to do. And if Jones has a good day against this secondary, that
That's not
spells
good.
that spells some bad things coming up for this team in the future because Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback.
No.
All right,
He
and
can occasionally, it's weird. If you watch his eyes, they're kind of like imbalanced, and he has like, he'll do these crazy things like, what the hell is this guy thinking? Is he high on mescaline? And then next play, he'll have a good play, but he's very inconsistent, but he's not, he's not the cream of the crop.
if Jonathan Taylor and their running game takes off, all right,
That's
and
big news.
they can do some play action, and they can work the middle of the field with the tight end. That's going to spell some bad things for Miami. If Miami can't get home and they got to start bringing people and putting our cornerbacks on islands, that's not something we want to see either. So,
No.
in a way, defensively, what I'm looking forward to against Indianapolis is this kind of a generic game plan. All right, are we lining up and just playing football? Saying that our Jimmys and Joes are better than yours, right? I want to see if that's going to happen here, because again, I'm not scared of their wide receivers. I'm not scared of their quarterback necessarily. So let's line up and play football on defense, and let's see if we can contain this team.
And how do you think our offense matches up against their defense?
I'm interested. Colts got a pretty good defensive line. All right, this is
Yeah.
going to be a good test for our offense.
Not good linebackers, though, so I think that's a good thing for us. They're okay.
They're okay. They're okay. I think Achan is going to have 7-8 catches if he plays.
Should.
I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
Do I want him to play? Maybe not, but we talked about that. But he's going to have a pretty good day catching the ball. They are going to have to roll coverage to Hill.
Yeah.
All right.
And that should open it up.
That should open up our run game. And if everything that we've seen the last year plus, all right, we should be able to run the ball inside. Now, can Achan do that? I'm hoping Ollie Gordon gets 10 plus carries. If Ollie Gordon gets 10 plus carries, I feel good about this offense. I feel good about them putting up points.
He looks good. I still think that, he's the kind of back that needs a little bit of yards before carry. Although there's the one play was clogged up in the middle, but it was a counter. So it was setting him up to go to the outside. And he was able to pull it hard to the left and get down the line of scrimmage and then get upfield. But yeah, he's powerful.
Well, and that's and if we want to look at offensive game planning for the Dolphins in the run game, one of the things that I want to watch is, are we running pure zone, or are we doing some countering and misdirection and things like that within the O-line because we expect their defensive line to be better than what we are? I'll just say it that way. Doing a little bit of misdirection, doing some of the counter work and stuff like that we saw against Jacksonville, actually.
And yeah, if you notice in our preseason games, we did a lot more zone against the Lions, and we really added a lot of gap, a lot of misdirection against the Jags, and that's where we really started to feel our run game moves. So I'm thinking, because if the loss of Pharaoh Brown and relying on Tanakana to be the tight end, he's going to be tight end 1. that doesn't spell we're moving guys, driving them out.
Yeah, if there's a general theme for the year, I want to see what our tight ends can do blocking. All right, and it's going to affect the inside run game. It's going to affect the outside run game. They need to step it up. So if we're seeing our run game stuffed from the outside in again, like we did last year, that's not a good sign. After Indianapolis either.
Yeah, because they're not noted for run stopping at all. They're good pass
they were
rushers.
27th in the league last year, run
Yep.
stopping or something like
Yep.
that. Now they'll get after your ass on the pass rush.
Yeah.
All right. I like their pass rush with their guys.
Yeah. Latu and Armstead, right? They had Armstead.
Oh yeah.
Latu Armstead. There's another guy who's pretty good on it. I haven't done the full study yet. Wait until next week. Yeah, that's their deal. Julian Hill is going to play a huge part in this. If he craps out or he's hit and miss, because we can't have inconsistency. We can't have, missed block and a negative play or penalties. That's what's going to kill us. If he can step it up and be consistent, use that physicality, that body he has, drive guys, it could, put us in the right direction. Good.
No, and for Tua to succeed and for our pass game to take off, we got to stay on schedule. All right.
Yep.
We can't be 2nd and 12. We can't be, running in third and longs all day.
No, that's a no-no for us.
It's a bad
for anybody, but especially for us.
Well, teams with more dynamic quarterbacks can overcome it more easily than the Dolphins. Nobody wants to be in those situations.
Yeah.
But it's really, really hard for Miami to get off schedule. So
yeah,
let's see what happens there.
Well, that's it. All right. So I appreciate you coming in, Greg. As always, we'll be doing this again. I value your information. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Greg knows what he's talking about. Don't always agree. I don't always agree with myself, but that's not the point. The point is learning, and you can't learn without disagreement. But I agree with almost most of the stuff that you talk about. And I know it comes from a place of experience and knowledge, and that's always refreshing, needed, and I am grateful. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Curtis and Greg saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis and Greg out. Bye. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.